On this week's episode of Nikons Birding Adventures TV, we're in Botswana, home to one of the largest concentrations of big mammals in the world and home to nearly 600 different species of birds. Here we're in the Makgadikgadi Pans of Botswana. We're going to be staying at a magical camp called Jack's Camp on the edge of the Makgadikgadi Pans, and we're going to be looking for some central Kalahari birds, birds like coursers. We're going to be looking for Secretarybirds. We're also going to be looking for painted snipes in some of the flooded pan areas here in the Makgadikgadi area. Let's go birding. Botswana, in the heart of southern Africa, is well known for having some of the best wilderness areas in the world. With a full 38% of its land devoted to wildlife conservation, the country has the feeling of moving through an immense nature wonderland. Botswana is a rarity in our overpopulated, overdeveloped world. Untamed and untamable, it is one of the last great refuges for nature's magnificent pageantry of life. Experience the stunning beauty of the Okavango, the vastness of the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, the otherworldliness of the Makgadikgadi Pans, and the astoundingly prolific wildlife of the Chobe National Park. Botswana is one of Africa's birding hotspots and represents the last stronghold for a number of rare and magnificent bird species, including wattle cranes, Kori bustards, pygmy geese, secretary birds, and Pell's fishing owls. Get ready for another birding adventure from Botswana, the heart of southern Africa.
Okay, just from the name, Jack's Camp was started by a guy called Jack Bausfield. Jack's is quite unique in a lot of different ways. What we do here is we talk about the whole unity of life, incorporating everything from history dating back to millions and millions of years, and then connecting everything with events that are taking place right now in terms of wildlife. The first thing that we do at the Makgadikgadi is we introduce you to Botswana and narrow everything to Makgadikgadi and take you on a walk back in time. As you go along with us, when you see a bird or when you see an animal, you know where it fits in the whole ecosystem that we have here. And then we've managed in a long time to habituate a group of meerkats. We also take people there. We take people to different points, hotspots, where people can get to see different species of birds. And then the other thing is the area itself experiences a huge influx of zebra and wildebeest migration, followed by the Kalahari lions and cheetahs. So we have traditional bushmen here in the Makgadikgadi. We have the guys here with us doing bushman walks for the guests as a culture exchange kind of a thing.
At Jack's Camp, you could be very lucky to get this guy as a guide. Chaba is one of the best guides here in the Makgadikgadi area. He's been here for 7 years, and it's an absolute pleasure to spend time in the African bush with him.
Let's go birding.
This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Botswana Tourism Organization, and sponsored in part by Hobie Polarized Sunglasses, the world's best polarized sunglass, and by Coleman, legendary, quality, innovative camping gear. Many species of birds have adapted to living in this hot environment of the central and north-central Kalahari. Birds like larks, sandgrouse and korans, which are smaller bustards, they all thrive in this landscape. Right here, I'm looking at 3 different species of lark, and we've got on the right-hand side here a rufous-naped lark singing from the top of the tree, and then just to my left in the shorter grass here, we've got 2 spike-heeled larks. It looks like 2 or 3 of them. And then we just had over here, it's just flown off now, but we had a grey-backed finch lark or grey-backed sparrow lark, which is a small species of lark that likes to forage in open areas, and they'll feed on little seeds, little insects. Another bird we've been hearing is the white-quilled koran, or the northern black koran. This is a small species of bustard, and they like to perch prominently on top of a termite mound, and they'll do this ratchety call in the mornings and the late afternoons. They'll also do this weird display flight where they fly up and they whir their wings around almost like a helicopter, and the landing gear comes down, their feet come down, and then they land in the ground like that, doing a display where they're lecking, trying to attract females into their particular area. I've got a big herd of wildebeest behind me just passing through the area, but I'm more interested right now in this birchal sandgrouse, which is down here in the grass. These birchal sandgrouse, this is their stronghold, the central Kalahari. This is where they're most often found, but there they are together, just moving through the grassland right here. Look at that. Awesome. One of the distinctive birds of the central Kalahari and the northern Kalahari area, in fact, much of the drier areas of southern Africa, is the southern ant-eating chat. These small brown birds will perch on top of termite mounds, small bushes, and very characteristically they whir their wings, and you'll see those nice white wing patches when they fly. But here on this termite mound here, we've got 3 little babies, and the mom and dad coming in and feeding the 3 little babies on top of the termite mound here. Besides the birds, the stars of Jack's camp here in the Makgadikgadi area are these guys, meerkats. These pint-sized carnivores have the dubious distinction of being both predator and prey. And what these guys are doing this morning outside their burrow is scanning the skies and the landscape for predators before they head out to go and forage. This little youngster in front of me is about 2 months old. And what the colony will do is it will keep the babies hidden underground until they reach about 4 to 5 weeks of age, where they'll make their first appearances out of the burrow to go and join the rest of the colony when they go and forage. Meerkats have amongst the most complex social structures of any animals on Earth. These colonies are made up of dominant males and females who will guard the troop, look after the troop and breed. But they have this kind of socialist system where everybody chips in. You'll see when they're digging out their burrows in the mornings and in the evenings, they'll work as a chain gang. The more dominant you are in the colony, the less work you have to do. But you'll notice that they're very, very conscious of each other all the time. They're always going to be grooming each other, especially the less dominant animals in the colony will groom the more dominant animals. You'll notice when the babies are scared, they'll actually clasp each other and hold on to each other when they're anxious, which is very, very endearing. What will also happen is when they go out to forage, if the babies are very, very young, the mother has got a lot of milk. You can see this mother over here, you can see her teats, and she will need to lactate and to feed those babies. And that means that she'll have to go out and forage nearly on a daily basis. So what she'll do is she'll leave her young babies with nannies or babysitters. And these will be other females, other males in the group that'll actually look after those babies while she goes and gets food. So they really take great care of their youngsters until the youngsters get to the age where they can really forage for themselves and go with the rest of the colony. And even then, that's probably their most vulnerable time, because this is when the youngsters get distracted, they don't listen to the calls of the sentinels, the ones that are watching out for danger, and they can easily get taken by a martial eagle or a tawny eagle, who are amongst their most dangerous and most prolific predators. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Botswana Tourism Organization, and by Audubon Guides, nature at your fingertips.
This Birding from the Edge segment is brought to you by Nikon, manufacturers of the Edge line of optics.
One of the local delicacies in Botswana is the mopane worm. This worm is really high in protein and is really good to eat. If you're stuck out in the bush and you're trying to find something to eat, you don't have a rifle, you can survive on mopane worms. And you just need to squeeze out the poo. And eat away. Really good for you, high in protein, and this is Birding from the Edge. This afternoon we've got a very special treat for you because we're going out with the Botswana people. These people are part of the San, or otherwise known as the Bushmen, and we're heading out into the Kalahari here, the northern part of the Kalahari, in Makgadikgadi Pans area from Jack's camp with these guys, and they're going to teach us all about the bush, how to live from the bush, and a whole lot of other aspects about how the Botswana people see the Makgadikgadi Pans area. So what the guys are going to do now is they're going to try and take us to a plant to show us how to dig up a plant that you can squeeze water out of in times of drought. When all the watering holes dry up and the pans dry up, you'll need to be able to find this plant, squeeze water from it, and you can survive. Look at this. Wow, it's bitter, but it's really good. Wow. Look at that. Stop, guys. Whoa. Got a double-banded courser over here. This is one of the courser species that are found here in the Makgadikgadi area. There's only two coursers that are found here regularly. That's the double-banded courser and Temminck's courser. Double-banded courser walking here with the Botswana people. Hello guys, you see the birds there? The birds up ahead on the ground there, those little birds. I think those are, they're not double-banded, those are Temminck's coursers. So we've just had double-banded courser behind us. We've now got Temminck's coursers over here. There's a whole group of them. Look at those beautiful bellies. You can see those brightly patterned heads. Nice, eh? Temminck's coursers. Thanks, guys. Another good bird. So what the guys are going to show us now is it's getting dark, and this is about the time as the sun is setting when the Botswana people will go and make a fire. So these guys are going to show us exactly how to make a fire in the bush. No luxuries like lighters and matches or any kind of tinder, nothing like that. It's going to be straight making the fire Bushman style right here in the Kalahari. You can see how they keep putting the dung on top and it just smolders slowly. And now the guys are getting bigger kindling and they're going to put that on as it smolders. Look at that. Wow. Oh, look at that. This is how you live in the bush, Botswana style. Makgadikgadi Pans area is famous at this time of the year, towards late summer, for the huge migration of wildebeest and zebra that come from the Botswana River about 100 kilometers or 60 miles from here. This is the largest migration of wildebeest and zebra in southern Africa. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of these animals that will come through from the Botswana here to the grasslands of the Makgadikgadi to drop their foals and their young. I'm on the roof of a Land Rover here next to one of these little flooded pans, next to the great Makgadikgadi pans themselves. And here we've come across the greatest number of greater painted snipe that I've ever seen in my life. We've got probably 12 to 14 birds here, 6 to 7 pairs right here in this flooded pan. Now what's interesting about these birds is that painted snipes are probably more closely related to jacanas than any other bird. And the reason for that is that they're one of the only birds in the world that exhibit polyandry, which means that the females will actually mate with more than one male, and the males will then be left to build the nest, incubate the eggs, and take care of the fledglings. The female, once she's mated with that male, will then go out and seek another male and mate with him. So this is a great example of women standing up for themselves in the animal world. What a stunning bird, the greater painted snipe.
This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917.
And sponsored in part by the Botswana Tourism Organization.
And sponsored in part by Wingscapes, manufacturers of the bird cam.
Well, this morning we've headed out from Jack's camp. We're on top of the Land Cruiser and we're scanning the Makgadikgadi grasslands for Secretarybird, our golden bird for this episode. What we tend to do is we've got a nice elevated position here. There's been a report of 2 to 3 Secretarybirds in the area, and we're going to go and try and find them. Stick with us. There's a bird up ahead. Chaba, stop! Chaba, stop, stop, stop! We've got a Secretarybird there on the horizon. Quite far away, there's a Secretarybird running very, very quickly on the horizon. In fact, no, there's two. There's 2 Secretarybirds running on the horizon, chasing each other. You can see their wings open like that. This is probably a male and a female. You can see the bird in front is slightly smaller and she's running away from the male who's trying to court her behind. The one in front seems as though she doesn't have much of a tail actually. A lot smaller than the male. And you can see the male behind just trying to keep up with her. He's flown up to her a few times now. And she is just running, running, running. Okay, Chubbs, let's go. Let's try to keep up with him. This is awesome. We've got Secretarybirds. They're just over that side, to the right. Yes. This is going to be cool, but these birds are just motoring it across this open area here. They are going so quickly. It's bumpy up top here, but we've got a fix of them, and we're going to try and find these guys. This is the world's only terrestrial raptor, the stately Secretarybird. And this is its home, these open grasslands of the Makgadikgadi Pans. These birds will stride with their long legs across the grasslands here, looking for insects, lizards, and snakes. In fact, pretty much anything that they can overpower. They are very, very strange birds because they share the breeding habits and the nesting habits of eagles, but then they also share affinities with bustards and cranes. And yet, this is believed to be a raptor. Whatever its affinities, this is a remarkable bird. This is a bird which is a signature species of these open areas here in the central Botswana region. You can see how he's trampling in the grass here. He's probably got something fairly large in the grass. He's standing in the grass there with his feet like that. trampling away. You can see those feet working in the grass. I'll be pretty surprised if he doesn't come up with a snake or something big here. This is what secretary birds will do, is they'll use those long legs to stand and stomp on a snake until they overpower it. Actually, he's bringing up a snake. He's bringing up a snake. He's got a yellow snake in his bill. You can see him. Oh, he just gobbled it down so quickly. That is typical secretary bird behavior right here on this pan. This was spectacular to see the bird in the grassland, obviously saw something and then used those long legs. Stomp, 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 overpowered the snake and then took it up in the bill, head first, down the hatch and gone. What a beautiful and stately bird. The secretary bird right here in the Makgadikgadi Pans of Botswana. Our golden bird for this episode. Yes!
For more information on birding and travel in Botswana, log on to the Botswana Tourism Organization website.